He was on the brink of major stardom, many said, but his shooting death last month gives Brandon Lee a more tragic place in movie history.
I think you have some eerie parallels here. This is almost a made-for-Hollywood kind of story.
Lee's death during the filming of his action film The Crow comes 20 years after the still unresolved death of his famous father, martial arts legend Bruce Lee. Once again, Hollywood is searching for answers, and at least one relative is even asking if his family is somehow cursed.
We were so proud of him, like only, last week we were still talking about him, and all of a sudden, it just happened, this thing happens.
Robert Lee is Brandon Lee's uncle and Bruce Lee's brother. This is the Monterey Park, California nursing home where he visits his 82-year-old mother each day. She has Alzheimer's disease. Robert has not told her of her grandson's death, a death shrouded in mystery, just like her son Bruce's.
This is the only time that I have to say that I'm glad my mom is like this now. I mean, our family, this last year has been working on a project about Bruce. And, we're getting to the facts of Bruce's death. Now, all of a sudden, this Brandon thing happened, tragedy, and, my mind is right now going crazy because, I'm just trying to, just like solving a mystery, I'm not a detective, okay, but I sure as hell like to know what happened.
As Robert shared pictures of Bruce and Brandon here mugging with his sister Shannon, he told me of a Chinese man he once met who was an expert in superstitions. He predicted pain for his family.
After my father's passing, we've been told, actually I've been told myself, that in our family there'll either be divorces or deaths.
Biographer Alex Ben Block is the author of The Legend of Bruce Lee. He says a more earthly motive may lie behind Brandon's death.
Because there had been a series of problems and incidents on this set, it seemed to me that there might have been someone with a grudge against the company or the film.
It's hard for Brandon to make an enemy, but if somebody really wanted to shoot him for whatever reason, it's probably, I'm quite 100% sure it's not his own enemy. It's probably because of something else. And I don't know what the something else is, if it's a murder.
Robert feels he does know more about the death of Brandon's father, which was attributed in 1973 to a brain swelling. Robert says he'll publish what he's learned in an upcoming book. And while Alex Ben Block can't disprove the official version, he acknowledges that Bruce Lee's death was far from ordinary.
He was in the apartment of a woman named Betty Ting Pi, an actress in Hong Kong, on the day he died. And the producer, Raymond Chow, initially tried to make it appear that he actually died somewhere else because he was embarrassed that Bruce Lee had died in the apartment of this woman. And so as soon as people heard that the body had been moved, that there was a period of some hours before the crime was reported or the death was reported, people assumed that there was something funny going on.
Ironically, this spring we'll see the release of a film about Bruce Lee's life titled Dragon. And while Block says the movie is entertaining,
it's wildly inaccurate. It basically, except for the most broad strokes of his life, it is totally fictionalized.
The last chapter in the Lee filmography is, of course, The Crow, Brandon Lee's final movie in which he played a murder victim who returns from the dead to avenge his killing. But for Robert Lee, Brandon's death, while making the film, is inescapably real.
Oh, my mind is so into his death right now, and brings back memories when I first saw him in '69 when I first came over when he was 4 years old, and saw him grow up and...
In an eerie parallel, in 1973, Bruce Lee shot a scene that was similar to the real-life drama that ended Brandon's life. In the scene, an actor playing a prop master instructs some other actors to shoot their prop guns, which are loaded with blanks, at the ceiling so no one will be injured when the wad of paper is expelled. Unbeknownst to the cast and crew of this movie within a movie, a hitman is standing among the actors, and when the director yells action, Bruce's character is shot dead.